My name is Sister Ann Sullivan, and I'm the founder and first director of White Violet Center, and currently I am on the faculty of St. Mary of the Woods College. Well, the center is established to shed light on the need for sustainability and education in all areas of eco-justice, recognizing that all creation is interconnected and interdependent. White Violet exists to educate for a more sustainable future. And we do that by utilizing our own resources here at St. Mary of the Woods, which are considerable land, the possibility of animals, which we have, and then the whole history of education in our community as well. Well, I'm a farm kid. I grew up in Western Illinois on a farm and have always felt connected and involved in the natural world. And I was complaining loudly to our general superior, with whom I was living at the time, about the use of pesticides and herbicides on our land. And I think she finally got tired of hearing me complain and said, all right, make a proposal because I don't know for sure how to deal with this. So I did, and no one paid any attention to it. No one thought it was their purview. But what really happened during that time was that lots of people, a lot of sisters saw the proposal, one page. Let's do this. We have buildings, we have land, we have people, we have a commitment to eco-justice as a congregation, so let's do it. And surprisingly, we did. We didn't think about it for a while, we didn't rewrite it several times. We just said, let's do it. And literally that's how it came into being.
My name is Lori Heber, and I'm the director of the White Violet Center for Eco-Justice at St. Mary of the Woods. The White Violet Center and the land that the Sisters of Providence have here in St. Mary of the Woods is 1,200 acres of property. Everything from certified forests to certified organic farmland to organically grown gardens, about 7 acres of gardens. We have pastures with alpaca, 47 head of alpaca here on the grounds. And it attracts a wide variety of people. We have tours, we have field trips, we have garden clubs, we have pilgrims and seekers and people just wandering in off of the road. And it's amazing to be able to show them this place and all of the abundance of land. And it really helps to create and reconnect people with creation and with the land. You would see blueberry patches, you would see raspberry patches, you would see blackberry patches, orchards, places where we've tried and failed for the last few years to keep bees. You would see our compost bins, you would see hoop houses and greenhouses and hoop house. Hoop houses are high tunnels, other people might call them, where we can extend the growing season. They're unheated houses where we can grow vegetables, and we're able to grow lettuce, spinach, and greens well into the season, sometimes all season long, depending on the harshness of the winter. You will see our orchards. You will see chickens. We have chickens. We raise them for eggs. We have new chicks that we're raising and we'll be adding to our flock. You will see the beautiful trees. It is St. Mary of the Woods, and the woods are absolutely stunning. They've been well cared for many, many years. When I took the job and was just brainstorming some ideas of things that could be done with this wonderful land, and talking with the founder, Ann Sullivan, Sister Ann, about possibilities, she stated that early on a study was done that indicated that there's some windy knolls on the property that would be prime for growing grapes. The sisters at that time, when the center was founded, weren't of a mind. However, they might, with the right business model, be interested in perhaps growing grapes for wine.
Go for it, Lori.
And for a long time, the sisters actually had a program called Providence Volunteer Ministers. And most of the people who came out to work on the farm were actually coming through Providence Volunteer Ministers. They were PVMs. But a few years ago, when they folded that program, we decided that what we needed to do as part of our ministry and as part of our education was to really expand the internship program to fill that gap that the PVMs had been filling. So we would usually have maybe 1 or 2 interns a year. We started expanding that. We started bringing in 3, 4, 5 interns. In fact, this summer we're going to have 8, maybe even 9 interns here over the summer, which is the most we've ever had. We get interns from everywhere. We've had a lot of interns locally who actually live in Terre Haute or they live in Indiana. We've gotten interns from Washington State, from Alabama. I just picked up somebody from the airport today, actually from New Jersey. We get them from a lot of different locations. We haven't gotten anyone, I don't think, from a different country yet. Although we have had a couple of applications for other people, it didn't work out. And as far as what they get out of our program, I think it matters a lot what they're here for. So we have a lot of applicants who, they really want to come here to learn how to run a small farm, how to start a farm, how to run a farm. And to that end, we give them a great deal of hands-on experience. This is what it's really like on the ground, which can be substantially different from what you read in a book, about how to manage, how to do all the planting, all of the animal care and things like that, as well as a lot of the bookkeeping, a lot of the regulations you have to follow. But it caught me off guard when I started working here that I would get a lot of applicants for people who were in perhaps foreign language or policy, poli-sci, or urban planning, urban development. And as it happens, what these people typically want to do is they either want to go to other areas and help them work on agricultural development, or maybe they want to go into environmental policy, environmental advocacy, and things like that. They, on the other hand, they'll still get a lot of the same on-the-ground experience in terms of agriculture, but what I hope is they take that with them when they then go to advocate for agricultural issues, or when they go to work on policy, and they actually have an understanding of what it is like to do those things, which is, I think, very different from a lot of the people who are making policy for us and don't really know what it's like to farm. So my hope is that these kids are going to go out and really have the experience they need to represent farmers effectively.
I started June 1st of last year, so I've been here a full year and a day, I guess. I came from another farm. Well, I graduated from the University of Minnesota with a degree in care ethics. Actually, it's a feminist ethic and sustainable agriculture. And I realized, though I knew sort of the academic piece, I didn't have any practical experience with farming. I mean, I grew up in a rural area, but so I knew it would sort of be a long haul in terms of learning. It's not something you just pick up in a short, like 3-month internship. So anyways, I spent 2 years on a farm in Wisconsin, a dairy farm. It was an intentional community that included adults with developmental disabilities. So I found that integrated my sort of interests in a lot of different ways. But I wanted to be closer to family. My family lives in Indiana, Ohio, so and I had connections with the Sisters of St. Joseph, and the former director here used to be a CSJ, a Sister of St. Joseph. And so there was a connection there, and sort of integrated. The White Violet Center integrated not only my spirituality or my spiritual heritage, but sort of this learning to care for the earth, and an internship that sort of cultivated those skills. And it's been wonderful being here for that reason. The staff is very knowledgeable, and there's a lot invested in the interns here in terms of workshops offered or resources. There's a great library, and just, yeah, I mean, the interns are treated very well. We've had several, Robin's put together several workshops on, we met with the person who farms our property. We talked about farm equipment, which was very educational, and we've had one on herbalism, we've had one on taking care of chickens, an alpaca 101 workshop. We've had one on weed identification and insect identification, good agricultural practice standards. Yeah, it's been a full gamma of education. We get a full money for a meal a day, but it's a big meal, and then we get a small stipend to help cover other meals during the month. Well, I think in terms of farming internships, it's always difficult because for agriculture, small farming doesn't make a lot of money anyway. So you do a lot of work for not a little pay, but that's. But I would sell the experience sort of in a different way. I mean, I think it's work worthwhile. I think the sort of this spiritual foundation that's here in terms of meaning making that's here is pretty grounded, and I think here particularly the attention in how much is invested in the interns, the education piece I think is super vital, and how well we're treated as people and not just sort of hands to do work. So
You're so much more than hands.